हेलो एवरीवन एंड वेलकम टू 5paisa मैनेजमेंट टॉक। इस सीरीज में हम बात करते हैं अलग अलग कंपनीज के मैनेजमेंट से। ये जानते हैं कि फिलहाल इंडस्ट्री में क्या हो रहा है, ट्रेंड्स कैसे हैं, डिमांड्स कैसी है, फाइनेंशियल्स किस तरह से बन रहे हैं एंड आने वाले समय में कंपनी क्या स्ट्रैटेजी कर रही है, क्या आउटलुक बन रहा है। और मैनेजमेंट से ये भी जानने की कोशिश करते हैं कि वो अपनी फ्री टाइम में क्या करते हैं। बेसिकली हम कंपनी के मैनेजमेंट की को भी जानने की कोशिश करते हैं। चलिए, तो आज के एपिसोड में हमारे रडार पर है इंडिया की एक मेजर फुटवेयर ब्रांड मेट्रो ब्रांड। मेट्रो ब्रांड फुटवेयर इंडस्ट्री की मेजर ब्रांड है। 1955 में कंपनी ने अपना पहला स्टोर मुंबई में खोला था एंड सिंस देन द कंपनी हैज एक्सपैंडेड अ लॉट। एज ऑफ 31 मार्च 21 कंपनी के 625 स्टोर्स है, 142 सिटीज में ये कंपनी मौजूद है। और आज हमारे साथ कंपनी के सीईओ मिस्टर निशान जोसेफ जुड़ रहे हैं। निशान जोसेफ ने यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफ वेस्टर्न सिडनी से एमबीए किया है एंड उनका रिटेल एंड फुटवेयर का 20 साल से भी ज्यादा का ग्लोबल एक्सपीरियंस है। So welcome to our show and thank you for joining with us today and taking out time.
Thank you, Devanshi. Great to be here.
Great. तो सर सबसे पहले तो आपको एक साल हुआ है, एक साल से ज्यादा मेट्रो ब्रांड ज्वाइन करके एंड दिस इज द टाइम कि आप इंडिया में आए थे। इससे पहले आप दुनिया भर के कंट्रीज में रिटेल ब्रांड संभालते थे, फुटवेयर संभालते थे। सो फर्स्ट, हाउ इज योर एक्सपीरियंस बीन इन द कंट्री? हाउ इज इंडिया ट्रीटिंग यू एंड हाउ इज द कंपनी, लाइक द होल रिटेल फुट एंड द फुटवेयर ब्रांड ट्रीटिंग यू?
So I think India is on everybody's radar. India is coming to the forefront finally in industry, in manufacturing, in a lot of different segments. So you can see that vibrancy of business coming alive in India today compared to 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It is a new India, and it's a new India that is on its way to becoming the best India it can be in the next 10 years. So I'm very excited to be here. I'm even more excited to be a part of Metro Brands. A 70-year history with a promoter-led company that is now migrating to a professionally managed company. It's a wonderful journey, and the footwear business is a great place to be. Because sabko juta chahiye na, so it's a good place to be.
Let's start with it. Let's understand first about the whole industry. Sir, जैसे आपने कहा कि जूता फिलहाल के लिए ऐसी चीज़ है जो फैशन में बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट हो चुकी है. It's a very important part of everyone's life and in fashion also. As an accessory use की जाती है. How is the industry trends exactly moving? डिमांड सिनारियो किस तरह से अभी फिलहाल बन रहा है और जो इन्वेस्टर्स हैं उनको फुटवेयर इंडस्ट्री को क्यों देखना चाहिए और क्यों समझना चाहिए?
Okay, very good question. So the industry के दो बड़ा चीज है. One is function and one is fashion, right? So a juta that you need to wear because you're going outside, you need something slippers to wear. You have to wear something for the functional side of it. You're not going to go outside without any footwear on. And then there's of course a fashion component to the footwear, right? So both of these are very powerful elements of the footwear business. In India, the fashion business is growing tremendously because सबको social media है, Instagram है, सब देखते हैं कि क्या हो रहा है दुनिया में, and now all of a sudden they want fashion. They want the fashion products, right? So that's the actual product side of the business. As far as the industry side of the business, 70% of the business is unorganized retail, Abibi, right? 70%, or 30% is organized retail. So as India gets richer in terms of middle class people, they have more money, they have more wealth, they have more disposable income, they want better things and better things, right? So instead of shopping at the local unorganized retailer, they're now moving to organized retailer. There are studies that say in the next 5 years, organized retail is going to grow much faster than unorganized retail, right? So that's number one. Number two, one of the segments that's growing very well in the Indian footwear industry is premium. जो सस्ता बिकता था वो सब टाइम बिकता था, right? I mean, it didn't just start today. It's been selling for a long time, the sasta product. But now there's more and more offerings, there's more and more brands playing up to a premium space. And that plays very well to Metro brands because Metro में हमारे पास Metro है, Mochi है, Walkway है, Crocs है, and FitFlop है, right? All of these except Walkway are a premium brand. or aspirational brands, right? So our pricing is still affordable, but we're selling premium products. So customers want that premium product. So we see a long runway for the footwear business in India because also something that people don't know, India has one of the lowest per capita footwear in the world. In fact, I think that I saw a study that we're even lower than Pakistan. So the average Pakistan person actually owns more footwear than an average Indian person, right? That's just good news for the footwear business, right? Then when you look at, and Devanshi, you're on mute again, but that's why I can't hear you, but when you were saying something, sorry. So, but when you look at the penetration of metro brands in the country, today, like you said, we're in 140 cities, right? 140 cities. So we have easily another 150 cities we can go to in India. You know, whether it's tier 1, 2, or 3, we've got another 150 cities. So when I look to the future, there is a lot of opportunity for metro brands to continue to grow and become a much bigger company than it is today.
Definitely, that interesting point जो आपने यहाँ पे रखा कि जो पर एवरेज या एक इंडिविजुअल के पास जितने जूते होते हैं हम पूरी दुनिया से अगर कंपेयर करें तो काफी लो हैं.
Very low, बहुत low.
कि आने वाले टाइम में because people have got more conscious about their fashion sense and everything, तो उनको ये और साथ ही premiumization, तो ये दोनों चीजें हैं जिसके लेके आने वाले समय में the footwear industry is going to grow like anything, and you see the future here definitely. So moving ahead, let's talk about the specific demand. जब आप list हुए थे तब हम जानते थे there was a third wave and a lot of challenges were there, and despite that you guys have grown a lot. अब अगर देखें तो किस तरह से डिमांड सिनेरियो बन रहा है, क्या वो लोग लग रहा है कि एकदम से डिमांड तेजी से बढ़ रहा है कि स्टिल इन्फ्लेशन इज लाइक हिटिंग यू, डिमांड थोड़ा थोड़ा धीरे धीरे बढ़ रहा है, हाउ इज इट मूविंग राइट नाउ?
All right, so that's two questions. One is how is demand and how is inflation treating us, right? So demand ke bare mein, when I look at our Q4 numbers, Devanshi, it was growth across, and then I stop after the word across. It is across all our businesses of Metro, Mochi, Walkway, and Crocs. We saw growth in all the 4 businesses, right? Number 1. Number 2, we saw growth in all the different tiers of cities. Hum Metro mein hai, tier 1 cities, tier 2, tier 3 cities. Sab pure hamara 600 dukaan hai. So we saw growth in all the tiers of cities, right? Sirf ek mein nahi dekha, do mein nahi dekha, charon mein dekha. That's number 2. Number 3, when I look at the categories sales, ya dress hoye, ya wedding, sports, athleisure, all those categories also had growth. So when you see demand like this across your 4 concepts, across the cities, across the categories, it means that there is a lot of demand for the product, right? So that's the first question. In Q4, we saw that demand across, which we're very excited by. The second thing is, inflation. Metro brands specifically, we took a risk in December of last year and said we're going to buy raw materials and we're going to buy more inventory because we think there's going to be supply chain pressures. So we actually had a lot more inventory than we like to keep. But today we're glad we did because there has been supply chain challenges, there's been raw material challenges, and the good news is we only source 10% of our product from outside India. Everything else is made in India, so it's easier. We didn't have to deal with the China lockdown where you couldn't get a container to bring your shipments in and the cost is going crazy. So we were able to control some of the input costs. Q4 में शायद 5% का price increase हुआ, right? And we were able to control it. We did not see demand erode. This quarter, it'll be somewhere between 5 and 15% inflation cost, maybe. But because we have inventory, हमने inventory जो मंगवाया था ना, तो उसके कारण we can manage how quickly we have to take price increases. क्योंकि हमारे पास inventory है. It's not like आज price बढ़ा तो कल हमारे दुकान में भी price बढ़ा. We have some runway to manage the price increases, right? So inflation is a real problem. Supply chain disruption is a real problem. But we also at Metro Brands have figured out how to overcome it and to हम बोलते हैं hedge. We've hedged our bets on the inventory.
That's great to hear. In fact, I was coming to the inflation part, but you have replied to that you're managing it very well. Coming to the partners and partnerships, international brands. Now we all know that Metro is a multi-brand outlet, but the number of international brands that you're tying up with is very impressive in such atmosphere and such environment. जहाँ पे सब लोग रिस्क लेने से थोड़ा घबरा रहे हैं, you guys are just going ahead, tying up with different partners. पहले Crocs था, which went like great with Indian customers. People
Right.
love it, and now it's flip flops. So you have recently opened like flip flops or partner with them. So what's the strategy like, and like what's the outlook on the partnership?
Sure. So first of all, Metro, we're a very careful company. We don't just place bets. It's not like we're going to Vegas and saying, let's bet on this, let's bet on that. We're very, very careful in how we make our investments, right? The advantage, हमारा 600 दुकान है ना, तो अगर एक brand अंदर आना चाहिए, तो we test it. पहले test करते हैं. We test it, we see how it does, and if we like it, then we go forward, then we go forward, then we go forward, right? So the idea is to constantly test and then grow, test and grow, right? So you are right. We like other brands to join us, but Devanshi, the brand has to be elevating Metro. So we won't bring a brand जो हमारा और से सस्ता quality है और सस्ता, it's not the same premium brand. We want the premium brand. So if we bring it into Metro, it's got to be at or better than Metro's own products, right? Good example, Crocs. Crocs, there's nothing like Crocs in India, right? So we were very happy to have Crocs. FitFlop, the average selling price of FitFlop is 7,000. 7,000 for a sandal. Right? Yep. So it is definitely an elevated brand. So we are looking for elevated brands. That is the strategy. It's just not any brand, Daldo, But we're also opportunistic. When COVID hit, we saw a big shift to athletic and casual footwear. And we were selling a lot of casual footwear, but we also saw जैसे Skechers का माल और Adidas का माल बहुत अच्छा बिक रहा था, तो हम उनको हमारे स्टोर्स में डाल दिए.
Right. But it's a great strategy. In fact, you're getting brands which people, find internationally, and now they can find it in India. So it's great for people who are finding such things.
Correct.
Actually, flip-flop, like best casuals you can find there. So moving ahead to the next question. जैसे हमने बात की पेंडेमिक की. Now, pandemic में जो online sales है वो काफी बढ़ गए थे, and now everyone is focusing on the e-commerce business also. How's e-commerce business shaping up for you? And अभी कितना percentage of the revenues are coming from the e-commerce brands, and how are you planning to move ahead with the e-commerce?
Sure. So in 2013, 2014, 15, when e-commerce became big in India, right? That's when e-commerce came into India. All the big guys were selling products, right? It was a very discount game. कौन सबसे सस्ता बिक सकता है वो बिक रहा है, right? And we did not want to play in e-commerce because it was a discount game. Metro does not believe in selling discounted products. We price our products well, and we wanted to sell at a good price, right? We don't like discount games. So we did not get into the e-commerce business because it was not the business that Metro likes to grow. So our business in e-commerce before COVID was 1%. Today, e-commerce has grown and become more of an alternate channel, right? So now we're okay with it, and now we've grown that e-commerce business to 8%. And we'll continue to grow it, right? So we're making a lot of investments, Devanshi, to grow our e-commerce business, but not on the discount game. We don't like the discount game, but to build the brand awareness and to let people buy our products. If they don't live near a Metro or a Mochi or a Walkway store, they can shop online. They can shop online either in our own website, or on one of the marketplaces that we partner with, or they can also pick up product from our stores. You can go into any one of our stores and we can show you all the product anywhere in the country. So if it's not in that store, you can still shop from another store, and we'll have it shipped to you at that store, or we'll have it shipped to your house. So I mean, so we call it omni-channel, which is a common thing in the industry. So when it comes to the three big verticals we have on e-commerce are omni-channel, we have the marketplaces, and then of course we have our own .com sites.
राइट, मूविंग अहेड, जैसे आपने कहा कि अनऑर्गेनाइज स्पेस अभी भी काफ़ी बड़ा है इंडिया में, एंड वी आर ऑल अवेयर कि काफ़ी वहाँ पे काफ़ी सस्ती चीज़ें मिलती हैं कंपेयर टू द ऑर्गेनाइज, पर धीरे धीरे अब जो लोग हैं, कस्टमर्स हैं, दे आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स द प्रीमियम सेगमेंट्स एंड द ऑर्गेनाइज सेगमेंट्स। लेकिन फिलहाल अभी कितने ज़्यादा चैलेंजेस आपको फेस करने पड़ रहे हैं वर्सेस द अनऑर्गेनाइज स्पेस? हाउ आर यू डीलिंग विद दैट कॉम्पिटिशन फॉर नाउ इफ यू टॉकिंग अबाउट द unorganized space? And do you think abhi filhal volume game hai, or now things have changed, it's become a brand game?
So it's always been a brand game for Metro. We're not in the volume game. We're absolutely in the brand game. वो एक चीज़ है. There's two types of customers that shop unorganized markets, right? एक जो है, the सस्ता product, they want सस्ता product, right? But the second one is convenience. I'll give you an example. आप नारियल पानी पीते हैं? So you're not buying that from organized retail. 80% of the nariyal pani you're buying on the street from unorganized retail. Why is that? It's a convenience factor, right? So they don't mind spending more money, but they don't want to drive all the way to a store. They don't want to go to the high street. They don't want to go to the mall. They just go to the local unorganized market and pick something up, right? So some of it is a convenience game. We want to take advantage of the people playing in the convenience space and say, no, we'll become more convenient to you. And e-com has helped us do that. So that's why we're feeling pretty good that unorganized retail will grow faster. I'm sorry, organized retail will grow faster than unorganized retail.
So हम अभी तक देख रहे हैं कि सारी कंपनीज जिससे हमसे बात की है, मार्जिन इश्यूज अभी भी हैं बिकॉज ऑफ द इन्फ्लेशन एंड सप्लाई चेन, जिस पे हमने पहले भी बात की। Now, how much is this pressure on you? आपको लगता है कि आने वाले समय में कितनी कॉस्ट बढ़ सकती है? बिकॉज एज यू सेड कि आप तुरंत मार्जिन जो प्राइसेस हैं वो पास ऑन नहीं कर पाएंगे कस्टमर्स को, तो ये जो मार्जिन का प्रेशर है ये कब तक आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं?
So Devanshi, 10 साल के लिए, for 10 years, Metro has run margins between 55 and 56%, right? Last quarter, our margins was 57%. But that was because we didn't have as much old product USS में बेचने के लिए उतना नहीं था, so we were able to show slightly better margins, right? So it was 57. But we're confident that our historic rate of 55 to 56% gross margin is our goal, and it's maintainable and achievable even with the current supply chain disruptions and inflation that we see. Now, I can't predict the future. If it gets much worse, will that have an effect? Maybe. But as we sit today, we don't see our margins being affected any more than our normal margin rate. We feel comfortable saying we will be in the 55 to 56% margin rate.
All right, that's a great outlook for any investor to know. So coming to the number of stores, क्या प्लान है अगर हम FY23 तक की बात करें? What's the plan like opening of the stores, and क्या फिलहाल आपका ये प्लान है कि tier 2, tier 3 cities में ज़्यादा stores आप खोलने पर फोकस कर रहे हैं? What's the investment going on?
So we had told in our RHP statement that 3 साल में we will open 265 stores, correct? So by 2025 we'll open 265 stores. Today I feel very comfortable that we have the real estate identified, we have the capex, we have the capital cash to grow, we have the brands to grow with. So I'm very comfortable with that number, right? I feel that we will achieve that number, and that should not be a problem given the opportunities that exist for Metro brands in India. But with regards to how do we see that growth coming, we actually see that coming from all 4 concepts of Metro, Mochi, Walkway, and Crocs, right? We see that coming in all tiers of cities. So we think there's an opportunity. अभी हमारे पास Linking Road में सिर्फ एक Metro है, एक Mochi है, एक Crocs है, right? We can easily open one more Metro, one more Mochi, one more Crocs. 1 kilometer away on Linking Road, it's still a very strong road, right? So there's a Metro city that we can open more stores in. So we can open many, many more stores in all the tiers of cities. So the growth is not one particular tier. We're planning on growth across all the tiers of cities.
Do you think tier 2 and tier 3 cities are growing faster right now?
They're growing faster only from a percentage standpoint. क्योंकि वहाँ हमारा थोड़ा कम stores है, right? So tier 3 and tier 2 and tier 3 we have less than 30% of the stores, right? So from a percentage growth standpoint, it looks bigger, right? But really speaking, from an investment standpoint, from what we see as the future, we see opportunities in all those tier 1, 2, and 3 cities for us to continue to grow.
All right, sir. Is there anything जो आप अपने इन्वेस्टर्स को कहना चाहेंगे जहाँ पे फिलहाल के इन्वायरमेंट में जो बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान है कि कहाँ इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए, किस तरह से एक कंपनी को देखना चाहिए, like a vision for the company or a mission for the company going ahead, like if someone wants to hold Metro Brands for another 5 years?
I cannot tell you forward-looking statements, but here's what I will tell you. Metro Brands for the last 70 years has been in business, so that tells you something about the strength of the company. Metro Brands is one of the few companies that actually posted a profit during the COVID year. So even in the toughest of times, Metro knows how to scale and cut costs where needed, right? We have a very strong operational focus. We have great financial discipline. You know, हमारे पास कोई vanity नहीं है. It's not vanity metrics, it's strictly financial metrics. If this is the right thing for us to do for our investors, for our stakeholders, for our employees, we will do it. You know, अभी तक हमारे पास Connaught Place में store नहीं है, right? Because why? We don't think it is a profitable venture. We're not into vanity. We strictly want financial results in every one of our investments. So that's who we are. If that fits with an investor's portfolio of how they're seeing a long-term investment, then we definitely would like them to look at us.
Great to hear this, sir. And I'm sure the investors would be delighted to hear this, the margin and the financials that the company has been posting, and the outlook for the company is also great, and for the footwear also. Now that brings us to the interesting segment, knowing your own management. तो हम यहाँ पे जो CFOs हैं, CEOs हैं, उनको थोड़ा सा जानने की कोशिश करते हैं. तो इस segment में we have like 4 to 5 questions for you to know you personally. First of all, like we all know that you have come to India, and सब ये जानना चाहते हैं कि what's your favorite food after you come to India?
It's still Indian food. I mean, but actually, you know what? I discovered Parsi food in Mumbai. I'd never had Parsi food before. I've had all the other dishes, right? If you spent any time in India, you've had all the other dishes. But I recently discovered Parsi food, and I love it. You know, so I think that would be my favorite food today if you had me pick one.
Okay, what is your go-to place whenever you want to decide something, where you want to like make up a decision? One go-to place in Mumbai.
Make a business decision?
Any decision, like very important decision where you want to like think about it, or you want to just have fun. One place.
Goa, definitely Goa. You know, it's definitely my place to go reflect and think and get away from all the noise and the distractions and really just center myself and then come back and run hard again. I think it's a wonderful time, especially if you have a chance to, you know, go somewhere very quiet and peaceful. And I'm lucky I found a few places. I'm not going to tell you where, otherwise everybody will show up, you know. But I found some very peaceful places, and Devanshi, it's a place where you can really sit and think, right? So.
One favorite sports that you always would love to watch?
I'm not a spectator because I don't have time to watch other people play, right? I would rather, if I had an hour to watch somebody play, I would rather play. So what I do is every morning from 6 to 7, I play tennis.
Oh, great.
So correct. And then but the only thing I watch is tennis when there's I just watched the French Open finals. Now I'm getting ready to watch Wimbledon, but I'll only watch the finals. I'll catch the last bit of it. But I'm not a spectator. I'm a go do something rather than spectate. Spectate ka kya fayda hai? The team doesn't know me. They don't hear me. I mean, they appreciate me spending money on their clothes and cheering them on, and I'm sure that there's a lot of pride in that. I get it, but they don't know me. And whether I scream for them on a TV or not, they don't even hear me. So I really don't like watching sports. I like playing sports, and I'll play anything. I'll play anything, just to get out and play. But I'm not a big spectator.
Great. One favorite music or genre of music that you would love to hear anytime.
Blues, absolutely. Jazz infused blues. I just love that whole. All I need to see is a piano and a double bass and a trumpet guy or a sax. The three of them, they could just keep me there all night listening to jazz and blues.
Great, great. So interesting music. And one last thing, your favorite book.
Oh my gosh. Um, I think the book that I still remember and means a lot is it's a very simple book. It's called Good to Great by Jim Collins, right? It's a good book that really makes you understand that the biggest enemy of great is good. And as individuals, we can't strive for good enough. We've got to strive for greatness, and in our companies and what we do and how we do things. And I think it just changed my paradigm on how I looked at stuff. So no longer was good enough.
Great, great insights from you as well, sir. And that is what makes you an interesting manager. That's what makes you an interesting person, which people love about you. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us time today and having such heart-to-heart conversation with us.
Thank you, Devanshi. It's a pleasure being here on 5paisa.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, and wish you all the good.
Thank you.